Hello everyone. So in this video, we are going to see what should be the strategy for upcoming UPSC prelims exam. So we are going to see the strategy and I'm going to share my strategy also, which helped me in cracking this exam in 2014. So these will be the topics that we are going to discuss. Discussion will be around how to and how many mock tests must be covered, covering the subject revision part. If you want to appear in the next year prelims exam, then what should be the strategy and whether answer writing should be done or not. So this video is going to help the students who want to appear in this year exam, or maybe you are planning to appear in the next year exam. Both the students can the benefit out of this. So here the focus right now should be on attempting the mock test if you want to appear in this year itself. So here you have to set the target that I have considerable amount of time, or maybe some classes are going on. On the basis of these, you can target 50 to 100 mock test. I targeted 100 when I was about to appear in the prelims exam, but I was able to do only 75, right? So you can set the number according to the time availability. Any number between 50 to 100 would be a good number, right? And here also, let's say you pick 100. So you should target it in 70s to 30 ratio, 70 mock tests. These will be the subject specific mock test. You can say 10 mock test of geography, 10 mock test of history, 10 mock test of polity, something like that. And 30 mock tests should be the full-fledged mock test. So here full mock test and subject specific mock test should be there. Now you will always see this thing happening, because when we were preparing, the very similar thing used to happen. There'll be two different kinds of candidates: the people who will appear in mock test, the people who will avoid, or the aspirants who are going to avoid the mock test. Now if you're already enrolled in any of the institution, your institution must be providing you the test series, or maybe you have enrolled in the test series. Now, in such scenarios, you will see that maybe there can be some students, they will appear in one or two mock tests, and then because the marks are not on the expected lines, they will feel discouraged and then they will drop from these test series. Or in the same bracket, rather, there can be other subcategory also where the students are not even appearing in any of the mock tests because they think my preparation is not up to the mark and therefore I should not appear in the mock test. But that is a wrong strategy, because you will see that here you will not be able to improve when you know that yes, there is a particular test series provided by the institution, or maybe you have enrolled in the test series. You must appear in those tests. This was a mistake I also committed, that I did not appear in the test series which was provided by the institution, and I paid the price. Eventually you have to improve, and therefore the focus should not be how much marks you are getting in those test series. Rather, the focus should be on that what kind of mistakes I'm committing in those test series, and then you need to work upon those mistakes. But if you're consistent with your practice, if you're consistent with the mock test, you're attempting it almost on daily basis, means whenever the test is being conducted, and then you're analyzing those tests also, you will see that your marks will gradually improve. And this is exactly what we are targeting. So the focus should not only be that you appear in the test and then you just see the marks and then you shut down the test. The focus should be on that you see that, okay, if I'm scoring 50 marks out of 200, then which are the areas where I committed the mistake? And then of course you need to make sure those areas must be improved, so that we could see an upward trend in this area. And that's why we have created a sort of a chart here. So in the month of January, in the present month, you can set the target of 50. It means this should be the target. It's not a very big target, and of course it is below the cutoff, but you will see gradually the performance will go up. And this 50 score as an average score, it is going to encourage you also, because you can, like most of you can score this. So here, instead of considering the score in isolation, it can happen you appear in a test and your score is 90 out of 200. This can give you a lot of confidence, but some of you can also become overconfident in this area. But in the very same month, when you're appearing in the very same, you can say subject test, but probably this test is prepared by a different institution, there you can score 40. It is also possible. So for example, in the mock test of Indian polity, in one mock test you are scoring 19, in other mock test you are scoring 40. So these are the two extremities. So what you need to do, you just attempt, let's say 10 to 15 mock tests in the month of January, and then make an aggregate of all these scores, finally come up with an average score. So for example, in 10 mock tests, your score is 600, for example. So 600 by 10, so average score will be 60, which is of course over and above what was your target. Right? So every month, this is what you are supposed to do. So in the month of January, the target should be 50. If you are attempting 10 mock tests, just make sure your average score, not the score in isolation, not in one specific mock test. The isolated scores, they don't give you the true picture. So you take the average score, and that average score should provide you the true picture. In the month of February, let's say you're once again attempting 10 mock tests. In these 10 mock tests, if your score is 650 by 10, it means your average score is 65. Similarly, now you can move to the next month, and therefore you are here improving the targets as well. Gradually you will see that with the passage of time, and yes, of course, the kind of revision you're going to do, your score will improve. But yes, here you have a yardstick to see whether your score is moving in the right direction or not, because our target is that by the month of May, the score or the target score, the average score, let's say here also you're attempting 10 mock tests, and in 10 mock tests your score is, let's say, 920. So this 920 divided by 10, your average score is 92. It means you have scored well. In past few months you have improved. So instead of just focusing upon the isolated score in one test, you need to focus upon the average score, because average score is going to give you the true picture. Now this is what we have covered, that okay, this is how you are going to check or evaluate your performance, because if this chart is not there, then sometimes you will be scoring 90, sometimes you will be scoring 110, and sometimes you will be scoring 45, but you will never get to know whether you are improving or not. So this average based evaluation must be there. Now, how to prepare along with the classes? So it is possible that maybe you are appearing in 1, 2 or 3 classes. So here I have seen the students, they always criticize this thing, that since they have the classes, they are not getting ample time for the preparation. But let me tell you, instead of focusing upon time you don't have, you need to focus upon what time you have, because sometimes the focus is so much upon what we don't have that whatever we have, we do not pay much attention there, and that is something which we waste. So there are students who have already covered the syllabus, and you are always comparing yourself with them. See, in both the cases you will see some advantages and disadvantages. So the people who already covered the syllabus, what are their advantages? One of the advantages can be that they have time now to revise, right? And with you, of course, time is a little bit less as compared to them. Time is less, but their disadvantages that they completed the syllabus maybe last year, maybe last to last year, maybe they were like completed the syllabus 3 years back. We don't know. This thing is sure that since they have already completed the syllabus, in these months they are not doing the classes. Since you are doing the classes, all these things you are studying recently, and therefore these topics will be quite fresh in your memory, and that will be your advantage. So here, instead of focusing upon what you don't have, the focus should be on what you have, and then of course capitalize upon it, because it is not the time that you are giving to the classes that is going to create problem, because you are anyway learning the new things which are going to help you in the prelims examination only. But it is a very perception that I am giving 3 hours or 6 hours in the classes. That very perception is going to create a roadblock in your preparation, and the time that you are going to have even beyond the classes, you will not be able to use that time, because that misperception is created. So yes, there are people who have time, but again, they already have covered the syllabus, so they are not doing the classes which you are doing, and therefore the concepts will be quite fresh in your memory. But at the same time, yes, whatever time you have beyond the classes, you need to capitalize upon that. You cannot afford to lose that time. Now next is current affairs. Now since we have already covered how to cover the current affairs in offline classes, so here I'll be very brief. So we have 3 different options. We have magazines, we have daily current affairs, and then we have the newspapers. If you are one of those candidates who have been covering the current affairs for last 6 months, 7 months, 1 year, and whatever strategy you are following, I'll say stick to that. So if you are covering the current affairs from the newspaper, or maybe from daily current affairs, or maybe from magazine, I would say stick to that. If you're making notes, stick to that. If you're not making notes, then it is fine also. But if you have not covered the current affairs in last few months, in last 6 months, or maybe 1 year, in that case, I will not suggest you to complete the newspaper of last 1 year, or to complete the DC of last 1 year. Rather, you should stick to magazine, because there's a shortage of time. Therefore, the dependence should be there on the magazines only, and therefore you need to cover the current affairs from magazines, because magazines can be completed in the shortest possible time. Right? So here, if you have already covered it, then stick to the strategy. If you have not covered the current affairs, the focus should be on magazine. Now, how to utilize these months? So here you will see that you have to divide the syllabus like this. So you need to pick one subject in which you are interested, and the one subject which you find a little bit boring, and then you need to club these 2 subjects, and then you have to target these 2 subjects month wise. This is how I utilize the time before the exam. This is how I utilize the months before the exam. So I would take one interesting subject and one subject where my interest may not be that much. When we are clubbing these 2 subjects, motivation will be there to cover these subjects. So here you can, of course, these are just for the suggestive purposes. Otherwise, you can take any subjects that you want to, and of course there can be a lot of individual differences here. So you can take one subject which you find interesting, the other subject which may not be that much interesting for you. And again, here individual to individual, these subjects can vary, and then you need to make sure that you complete these 2 subjects in that month. So for example, let's say in the month of January, you are appearing in the mock test. Maybe you are doing one class, you're covering the current affairs, and then you're giving equal amount of time to both the subjects. So your target should be that in 1 month, I need to complete these subjects. And similarly, then you will come to the next month. In February also, you will cover next 2 subjects. In the month of March, you will cover 2 2 more subjects. In the month of April, you'll cover 2 more subjects, and eventually before the exam, this is how you will end up completing all the syllabus. Now please keep this thing in mind. Along with these subjects, you are also appearing in the mock test, and therefore simultaneously you're completing the mock test as well. Try to sync these two areas. So for example, if in the month of January you are completing polity and culture, try to attempt the mock tests which are related to polity and culture only. So you can complete 10 to 20 mock tests pertaining to these subjects. The next month you can complete the mock test of economics, geography, then history, science and technology, ecology, and then finally you will start attempting the full-fledged mock test. Here, see, the things will happen for you if you just divide the time in months and days, and you need to have your monthly targets before you and daily targets as well. I understand most of you do not even make the schedule, and some of you even say it is there in my mind, but it will not happen like that. You have to prepare a schedule, and it has to be there in your study room. It has to be there in your mobile so that you could see it, because all you need to do is just prepare the schedule, divide the syllabus like this, something which I've just shown you. You have to divide the subjects like this and then convert the same into daily targets. Okay, these many chapters I'm going to study in one day, so that by the time your month is over, you are done with your syllabus, you are done with the subject. Now, this thing might seem very surmounting if you see the top of the mountain, that there are like 150 days before me. So how can I complete the entire syllabus? It will be very difficult. But let me tell you, if you divide the same into different chunks, if you make the schedule, the daily schedule, and then you just see the very next step instead of looking at the top, because if you see here that this is where you want to go, then of course the journey might seem very difficult. If you do not see the top of the mountain, rather the focus is just on the next step, then of course you will see gradually you will be able to reach to your destination in no time. But if your focus is on the top of the mountain, that will always keep you under pressure. You will always feel that pressure, that that is the place where I want to go. But instead of focusing upon the target, if you just follow the process and step by step, if you create your schedule, you change your schedule according to the time, and then you keep on following your schedule, then things will happen for you. Now, some of you were also asking whether answer writing should be done or not. Here also, we can follow two different strategies. I will also tell what I actually practiced. So here, either you can just skip the answer writing completely if you think that you want to give 100% of your time to prelims. But an alternative or better strategy could be that 15 minutes can be given to answer writing. It is not going to create any issue in the prelims examination. Rather, whatever you are writing or whatever you are going to write, that is also going to contribute in your prelims preparation. So write something which is important for the prelims also. But one thing is for sure, if you keep on doing it in the upcoming 150 days or till the time of prelims, when the mains exam is there, you will feel that confidence that for last 5-6 months, I'm writing something on the piece of paper, and therefore that confidence will be there. 15 to 30 minutes daily is not a big thing, and you know that there is a rule of 60% which I shared with you in the offline classes, that this rule of 60% says that if you want to attempt a particular question, then just see the score 10 marker and find the 60%. It means you are supposed to answer this question in 6 minutes. So I'm giving you 15 to 30 minutes. So here of course you can write multiple questions if you follow this. Otherwise, if you do not want to practice this under a time foundation at the moment, then you can just write one question's answer on daily basis so that you could maintain that momentum. And once the prelims exam is over, you should have that confidence that you have been doing the answer writing for last few months. Now, after this, what the next year students should do. See, here, I can divide the next year students into two different categories. One category can be the students who think they really want to prepare. They are preparing for the next year, and when they started the preparation, that time as well, they had the next year in mind. So for them, I would say whenever the exam is conducted this year, if you have moderate level of preparation, then also you should appear in the or attempt the test in your home. So prelims exam will be there. So even though you're going to appear the next year, but this year also you should attempt the actual exam in your home, and then you need to evaluate yourself. You need to give yourself marks also. So here, for example, on the day when people are appearing or students are appearing in the actual exam, you need to appear for the same in your home, and then you need to evaluate the same, see how much marks do you get. For example, if you get 60 marks out of 200, so that will give you an idea that how far you are away from the cutoff. Let's say you get 110 out of 200, then that will also give you the confidence. You have to replicate the same with the mains exam too, so that this will be just like your first attempt, even though it will not be counted because you have not appeared in the UPSC. But here you are evaluating yourself inside your home. This is for the students who in the beginning were aware that they will appear in the next year exam. But there can be other category too. These are the students who, when they started the preparation, they decided that they are going to appear in this year, but now since the exam is nearby, somehow they are losing the confidence and therefore they are planning to shift the exam date to the next year. But let me tell you one thing, that you will never feel that level of confidence that my entire syllabus is completed, and therefore the feeling should not determine whether you should appear in this year exam or the next year exam, because exam syllabus is such that you will never feel that sense of confidence or sense of completion that yes, you have covered almost everything. That feeling will never come. So let me share my story with you. So in the second attempt, when I was appearing in this exam, I was quite sure that I have covered almost everything. Preparation was also very good, everything was perfect according to my feeling. But that year I was short by half mark. I could not crack it. In the third attempt, when I was working also, and 9 to 5 working was there, so I was not able to give that much time to the preparation. And that year I was not so sure because of my job and simultaneous preparation. My preparation was also not up to the mark as per my feelings. So even though I decided to appear in the exam, but I was not so sure about that, whether I'd be able to make it or not. But that year the exam happened. So instead of going by the feelings, you should go by the data. Just see if you are getting 40 to 50% of the score or the marks in the prelims mock test, and at the same time you're getting the similar marks in your answer writing sessions too, then you should appear for the prelims exam. So here data should decide whether you should appear in the exam or not. Your feelings should not decide. So according to me, if you're getting 40 to 50% in your prelims mock test, and at the same time you're getting the similar score in your answer writing, then it's a good score. It's a good indication that the chances are likely that you will crack the exam. And again, guarantees don't exist in UPSC, but probabilities work. And when you are getting 40 to 50%, it is showing a good level of probability that this good amount of chances are there that you will also crack the exam. So here, just keep this thing in mind. If you want to appear the next year, of course I've shared the strategy with you, and at the same time, if you decided that you would appear in this year but now you're changing your decision, then also I have given you the indications. See the data, how much score you are getting. If you're getting 20% on an average, then of course this year you are not prepared. If you're getting 40 to 50%, then of course you can give it a shot. If you're getting 60%, then of course you must appear, because the chances are very likely. Again, guarantees don't exist, but probabilities work. So these things will definitely help you in your preparation. If you have any other doubt, you can ask the same in the comment section. Otherwise, you can send the same to me on Telegram as well. Thanks for watching this video. Have a nice day. Take care. Goodbye.